Hello, everybody. This is Nicole Salah. I hope everybody can hear me. I'm going to get started. Um, I just want to say hello today. I hope all is well. I hope everybody is taking care of themselves. I hope everybody is being happy and dreading through the grief and the things of that of loss and celebrating the ones that has gone on before us and really taking time to make sure that we are safe and we are secure and we are happy and enjoying this weather and again being safe. So what I'm going to talk about and won't be that long before you about female troubles. I'm outside today just relaxing and enjoying and working and sitting out in the yard, and I hope you're doing the same. So wanted to talk about female troubles, right? So that goes with excessive bleeding, painful menstrual cycles, endometriosis, PCOS, um, uh, fibroids, cysts, and things of that nature, any type of infection or increased yeast, excessive yeast, and things of that nature. And so I just wanted to give you some quick tips of what to do, what not to do, and direct you in a position in an area that'll help you, right? And so you won't get stuck and you won't every month be going through problems with PMS and things like that, because PMS really is not normal. Bleeding 5 to 7 days out of the month is really not normal. Okay, excessive clotting is not normal. Okay, so so I have to just share the information, just to make sure that you're okay and get an understanding. So really research. Just don't go down one vein and thinking that's the end all be all. Research everything, especially even everything that I say. And if you have questions, come back with your questions, and I'll no problem answering them and having a discussion. And then you can add as much as you want, right? And then next week I will be talking about male issues and male troubles and how to handle prostate issues, erectile dysfunction, early ejaculation, low sperm count, things of that nature. That'll help the men out because it is important for the reproductive system to be fine too. So back to the women. So when we are dealing with issues with our reproductive system, we want to make sure that we are eating properly, right? We have to make sure that we're drinking enough water, staying hydrated, right? Right. And so a lot of people get into what water to drink, what water not to drink, but I try to tell you, drink healthy water, right? Which means that it's not full of something else and that it can actually do what it's supposed to do. And water is not meant to alkalinize your body. Water is meant to pull out, right? Leach out issues and toxins, waste matter, things like that. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Waste matter. But it's not supposed to give you alkalinity, right? It's supposed to it's supposed to leach out waste. It does not distill water. Steam distilled water does not leach out nutrients out of your body. That is a lie. That really is a lie. But I digress. But your water is supposed to be so potent as far as open to pull out and leach out the waste, right? And so that's what we need our water for, and to hydrate ourselves, right? So, and it does an exchange, right? And so we need to make sure that we are completely hydrated, and that goes into the liver and the bowel, right? So when we are seeing that we're having issues in our womb, nine times out of 10, you have issues with your liver, hey, and issues with your kidneys, right? And so your kidneys and your liver, I talked about that before, go hand in hand and they work together, right? They make hormones, chemicals, and they clean and filter. And they make the help the body in balancing fluids and things like that, so that we are properly regenerating, right? And working in good health. So if we're having issues in our womb, there's issues in our liver, okay? Things to do with your liver: you want to make sure you're eating your green leafies. You want to make sure you're hydrated. You want to make sure that you are getting the proper herb food, like your yellow dock, like your beetroot, like your Oregon grapes, like your dandelion. Those just to name a few. And then I'll have some things that I'm going to put down in the chat. But go back and listen to some of the things that I'm saying. And then get in the Herbal Sundries group. It's a private group, shameless plug. Get over there. There's a lot of information that I put over there for free that you can get and actually do some checking yourself on what these foods do and how much nutrients is in the food and the alkalinity of these foods that will help your organs, right? So we need our liver to be healthy and well. When our liver is healthy and well, then our uterus and reproductive system, our ovaries and fallopian tubes and things like that are have a better standing and doing what it's supposed to do, right? And then on top of that, our bladder sits right there by our uterus, depending on how your body sits, but it's in right behind, generally in that vicinity. And then you can have issues, right, with your bladder or issues with your uterus that will push on your bladder and have you have issues with urinating and feeling full and things of that nature. And so when we don't have all of our nutrients up to snuff, meaning the hormones that we are needed to balance out for our reproductive system and our kidneys, right? And the ovaries producing what it needs to produce because it got the chemicals and the hormones from the liver and other places to make sure that we're getting the proper foods and nutrients. Then we'll have healthy reproductive system. When it's not, then we start seeing these issues with endometriosis. We start seeing polycystic ovary syndrome and other issues with the lining of our womb, right? There's a myriad of things that can throw off our womb. Premarital sex or too early of sex at an early age can throw you off because our wombs are still growing, right? And we really don't become a full woman until we actually have a baby, right? And so then our bodies reach the fullness of being, I guess, a full grown, that I want to say, how I want to describe that, being a completely matured in the body woman, right? But if we start early, we can throw off our growing and throw off the way that our bodies need to go through development. That's the word. So be careful, be careful, be careful about the foods that we're eating. Those fatty foods, those greasy foods, the fried foods, right? The non-genetically modified foods, right? Those foods that are, you can't put them in the ground and they regrow themselves, right? And so when you find yourself having these issues, you really want to come off a lot of animal products and you really want to go into sticking with your green leafies, your legumes, like your black beans, your garbanzo beans. If you're doing soy, you want to make sure you're sticking with non-genetically modified soy because genetically modified soy will hurt our bodies in a way that we're not really want to go through, right? Especially when you have estrogen issues. You actually can balance your hormones so that your flow, your lining of your uterine walls and your ovaries, your fallopian tubes and things like that won't get blocked and some type of growth because the body is trying to help itself. And so that's how cysts and tumors happen because the body is smart and it has a wisdom in each cell. So what it'll do is collect all those toxins and all those poisons, and then it put it in a cyst or a tumor, and it can become a tumor, right? And if after so long, if it's not handled, taken care of, and not given something to eat, which is the toxicity in our body and the things that we eat and the things that we've done, right? That it can become cancerous, right? And so we want to be very careful. I know this is a lot of information, heavy information to share, but we have to be so careful, right? We don't have to die from cervical cancer or uterine cancer or ovarian cancer. We don't have to, right? And so we have to make sure two, our bowels are clean and clear, especially going through this pandemic and everything that's going on with COVID. Our immune system is so based in our bowels, right? And so we have to stay on top of making sure our bowels are moving at least 2 to 3 times a day. We got to make sure that we're hydrated, right? Because our bowels do produce water when we're doing what we're supposed to do and eating properly and having the other water so that those things are exchanged and hydrated, and then things are working properly in our intestines and in our lower bowel. But if we don't, we can set ourselves up for failure. And then that can start even from, a lap baby, right? And the way that you put foods in lap babies that should not, and not giving them proper, or moms not eating proper enough. And the domino effect happens. So we want to be so careful, right? Because we want to be around to do exactly what we're called to do, and we want to live life. And we don't want to live life bloated and cramping and painful sex and things like that. Because if you are having painful sex, really think about it. You could have an issue where, one, you don't like your partner. Because your body does have a wisdom. If you really in your heart don't like this person, or something in you is telling you something's wrong with this person, sex will not be fun, or it won't feel good. It would not be comfortable, right? That's one. Two, there's issues going on inside your womb that you need to address, right? And three, you got to make sure your bowels and everything are moving, because you could be full and constipated, and then coming up against the lining, because it's right there. You're sitting, your lower bowel and your uterus is right there. They're right next to each other. So you have to make sure, right, if you want to have a healthy sex life, and that can cause your sex life to diminish if you're having these issues, right? And so I want you to be healthy. I want you to stay on top of it, right? Clean eating. So your dark leafies, your legumes, right? Your bright beans, your eating your yams, and eating your cabbage and leeks and things like that, and not over processing or overcooking your food to where you're actually able to digest the food and it get where it's supposed to go. And then the movement, you need exercise, right? Your exercise has to be consistent, right? Sometimes it's good to get on one of those big balls and gyrate and pelvic thrust on those bars, because you got to get the blood circulating in that area, right? Especially if you have issues like cystic fibrosis, fibroids, PCOS, endometriosis, right? Things of that nature, even cervical cancer, things like that. You have to get circulation in that area, right? I also attribute to women that have been active before, the yoni eggs and doing the Kegels with the yoni egg. If you're interested in that, inbox me. And people, and some of you that's probably looking at me know somebody who actually sells them or whatever, and inquire, right? Inquire what to do, how to do it, and then make sure that you're protected, because you have to make sure that pelvic floor is sound and strong, and your walls of your uterus sound, strong, your ovaries strong, right? Even when you get past the childbearing age, your ovaries still make chemicals, hormones, to keep us in a balance, right? Mentally, emotionally, and all of that. And so when we find ourselves in these areas, don't hide. Don't be ashamed. Don't worry. But get the information, right? And find someone like me, or I can suggest you to someone and get with your GYN. If you do not feel comfortable with your GYN, find another, right? Everybody can work together with you so that you can have a healthy womb, and healthy ovaries, healthy fallopian tubes, right? That everything is consistent and you're not having things growing that don't need to be there, right? So your dandelions is great. So the herbs that are really good, right? I'm going to go through that. Dandelions, wonderful. Your ginger, your false unicorn root, buchu, which helps for the reproductive and your kidneys, right? Your yellow dot, your red raspberry leaves. Making red raspberry leaf tea daily is necessary, right? As women, we should be drinking a quart of that, and men really should be drinking a quart of that daily, right? If you're pregnant, you want to get up to a gallon, okay? And because red raspberry leaves are so strong in helping balance hormones, help us actually immune wise and fighting off viruses, strengthening the uterine walls, right? Giving nutrients to those areas, okay? And so that is essential, okay? So blessed thistle, doing a green drink daily. That means taking a handful of dark leafy greens and putting it with your steam distilled water, blending it up, putting it back in the gallon, shake up the whole gallon so it's like a clear green water. That's your live chlorophyll, okay? Or chlorella. That is the blood of that plant, blood of that leaf. And it's like giving you a blood transfusion. And so we want to make sure that our blood is healthy, right? And when our blood is healthy, our wound is healthy, our liver is healthy, wound is healthy, kidneys healthy, womb is healthy, heart is healthy, womb is healthy, right? All the other organs, pancreas, womb is healthy. Intestines healthy, womb is healthy, right? So we have to think like that. We have to be diligent and take care of our precious. That is precious. God gave that to us. Life comes through there if you decide to be a mother. It is precious, right? That area is so a balm for our men when we are united in covenant, and for us to come together and we get that energy from them and they get it from us. It's a healing that comes, right? There's a lubrication that's in the joints and the bones that happen when you're consistent like that, right? There is a lessening of depression because those endorphins, right? Those serotonin and all those other good hormones are produced, and you're satiated in your body and you're relaxed and actually not in as much pain. But if you're having issues with your womb, you can't, right? You can't. And a lot of, I believe, stems from romantic hurt, family hurt, or love hurts. It doesn't have to just be romantic. Like I said, family hurts. Or you even hurting yourself and feeling rejected, dejected, um, deceived, um, traumatized, abused, or having been abused in your womb, right? By someone who took your innocence, or you felt you needed to do whatever, and it was an abrupt trauma to your area, right? Or your passions has been attacked. And so that settles down in our wounds. And after so much, and then if we used to put perm in your hair and things like that, that will stimulate issues growing in the womb. Okay. So I do have protocol for women that have reproductive issues, right? There's a bolus. I'll put a picture inside the chat as well that you can go back and look at and see what they look like. But a regimen for women to get on to make sure that you have a healthy womb, right? Yoni steaming is wonderful, but you guys, it's not just the steaming. It's not just having the bolus to put in the vagina, which does feed the area, but you also have to eat, right? You also have to take care of you mentally and emotionally, right? And your will and your conviction and your consistency to stand and make sure that you're a happy person, you're a joyous person, you're balanced, right? Getting the therapy or whatever you need to release all of that trauma, hurt, pain, and all of that out of your womb so that those things won't grow back. Because you can go get the surgeries. I don't really a fan of the surgeries, but sometimes you're so far gone you have to get the surgeries, right? But even if you have to, there's still a way to pamper the wound and continue to do those things so that they won't come back. Because you can remove those organs, but it's still, you will have those cysts and things growing in that area. Okay? And so I just want everybody to be safe. I want everybody to be calm. And I want you to take care of your reproductive system. Take care of your womb, ladies. We only get the one, right? And so when you're taking care of yourself. You want to make sure you're exercising, hydrating, bowels are moving, eating properly for your body, getting the proper nutrition, getting the proper rest, right? Getting the proper help if you had trauma or abuse, and learning how to do self love, how to love yourself, your body, right? So we're here for that. I'm here for that. At Listen Holistic Health Consultants, I have a team, and I have some awesome women that are wonderful with working with people and helping them to overcome, right? And so check us out or check me out, and then I can, put you with the right people if it's not with myself, at ellisonholistic.com. Again, it is help. It is help. It is help. But you want to start making sure you're eating right, right? And releasing those things that are negative to you, that are not helpful to you, releasing the people that are not helpful and healthy for you, getting out of toxic relationships, severing soul ties that need to go, that are toxic for you, that don't serve you any purpose or wellness, okay? But it's life after. And that's all. I just wanted to get on that. I'm trying to think of anything else I want to say. Some of the other herbs: wild yam, angelica, Siberian ginseng, echinacea, golden seal, bee propolis, chuachawasi, squaw vine, barberry, oil of cajeput, rubbing it on the outside of your pelvic every day. Um, Primrose oil, or oil of primrose, and even taking primrose oil by mouth. Black cohosh, blue cohosh, that helps to restructure and to rebuild and strengthen, right? The golden seals and the echinacea, they go to fight. The cramp bark, the squaw vine, the dong quai, what else? Wahoo, ginger, false unicorn root. Those are herbs that are necessary. Your thyme, your rosemary, your sage, right? Your clove. Those are things are helpful for our bodies to regenerate and to strengthen, right? And so that's all I wanted to share with y'all today. Let my hair dry. I'm going to pull it down. Washed it and relaxing and doing some work. But I had to get on here and to make sure that I stay consistent, to give you some love and information so that we stay on top of our bodies, and we keep each other accountable, and we make sure that our sisters are not dying when they don't have to. Right? Right? Right. All right. And shout out to my sister, Maya. I can see Maya on here, and she's a survivor. She's a survivor of, I think it was ovarian or uterine cancer, cervical cancer. Um, Wonderful, 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 wonderful woman. And she persevered and pressed through, to take care of what she needed to take care of. And even though she might have been afraid, she hung in there. And there's so many women that do. But then there's so many women that don't. And then go through things that we don't have to go through. And go through trauma that we don't have to really walk through, because we don't want to do the work. But I encourage you and I implore you, do the work. Stay happy. Stay sane during this time. Stay well. Stay COVID free as best you can. All right? If there's any questions, no questions, no questions at any time. Like and share. Whenever you see this, like and share. I just want to make sure that it touches people that it needs to touch, and that you get the information that you need to get, so that you stay healthy and stay alive and stay well to do what it is you were called to do in this earth realm. All right? Be peace, be love. God bless.